Well, you've probably seen the shuttle buses that West Bloomfield Parks uses all about town. And joining us now is the man in charge of those shuttles. He is the transportation coordinator for West Bloomfield Parks, Ben Burr. Ben, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So, Ben, could you start off by telling us what are your duties as transportation coordinator there at West Bloomfield Parks?
The primary is the buses. I got to do the scheduling. I answer the phones, return the voicemails, do the scheduling, schedule my staff, and facilitate the needs for the vehicles. That is not just medicals, non-medicals. That is all of our trips that are on the last page of your transportation guide. After that, there's a host of admin duties. I work with senior services and whatever people need, I'm happy to help.
So if anyone's taking a close look at the vans, they realize that they are smart buses. Can you talk about the relationship between West Bloomfield Parks and SMART? Do you rent those vehicles from SMART?
Yeah, technically, yes. There's a federal grant. There's a millage that's actually ending soon, and the replacement is coming up in November. And this millage provides the federal funding that allows us to lease these vehicles from SMART. It gives us money for repairs. It gives us the repairs themselves because labor is included in the lease. And it allows us to provide a lot of independence to our seniors. As far as an actual relationship with SMART, they operate their own stuff. We operate our own stuff. But there's a lot of communities that have these same transit shuttles under the same grant.
So there's the senior transit service. Now, how exactly does that work? Who exactly in the community can get rides, and can they get them to anywhere they want, or do you guys have a limited access of where you can take folks?
Unfortunately, it's a limited resource, so we had to put some lines somewhere. Our services are available to residents of West Bloomfield Township, age 55 and up. We do have provisions for 16 and up. If you're disabled, there's just some forms you got to get and have your doctor fill out. For medicals, we'll book up to 4 weeks in advance, and I can go anywhere in the township. We can leave the township by up to 6 miles. And for non-medicals, your grocery shopping, your bank, pharmacy, we'll go anywhere in the township and leave the township by up to 1 mile.
And can folks go online and book these trips, or do they have to give you guys a call?
In addition to my admin duties, I do drive one of the vehicles. We work off a voicemail system. You can call 248-706-2411. I check them every single day. I try and make as many calls as I can before I go home. If you don't hear from me by 4:30, you'll probably hear from me before 9 the next morning.
So it's hard to believe that we're only a couple weeks from October, but I know in October it's going to be the beginning of bus rides to the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. Can you talk about those and how folks can sign up to be on one of those trips?
Absolutely. We have season passes with the DSO under their Pops series. Their Pops conductor, Jeff Tyzik, does an absolutely phenomenal job with his art and his craft. With October, we're doing Prohibition. It's music of the Prohibition era. My apologies. November has Sci-Fi Spectacular. They're going to be pulling music from all those wonderful sci-fi genre books, movies, radio shows. And then Christmas is home for the holidays in December. We still have 13 spots open for Prohibition. We have 3 spots open for Sci-Fi Spectacular. And the home for the holidays is full, but I always encourage never be afraid to be on the wait list. We had 3 cancels at last minute for stalls earlier this week, and we do pull off the wait list and people do get to go.
So now, if someone has like a caregiver or a relative that takes care of them, can those folks go on these trips with them as well?
Correct. For day-to-day services, medicals, non-medicals, a caregiver comes along. We don't issue a charge. Otherwise, it's $2 per resident each way. When we're doing the bigger trips, if you have somebody that's under the age of 50, because that's most of our senior trips, and you need them as a caregiver, they just have to register like anybody else, but we're happy to have a caregiver come along and happy to let them share that experience with their family.
Ben, let's talk a little bit about Restaurant Ramblers. This sounds like both a great idea and a lot of fun. Can you explain to our audience what Restaurant Ramblers is?
That one is, we take different restaurants. Heidi is our senior operations coordinator for the senior services at Connect. We'll pick different restaurants. and we'll do 3 times, Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday, and it's cyclic. We just one restaurant, then the next throughout the season. There again on the last page of your guidebook. We start signing up for those on the 28th, and it's a chance to get out, try someplace new, not have to drive there, have lunch with some friends, meet some new friends. It's a great program. It's very popular. That's why we do the lottery system, which is going to be on the 28th. Come on in, join us, have a continental breakfast. It's $10 to do the lottery, but that $10 just goes towards your restaurant Ramwood registration. And, just make sure everybody gets a chance to go where they want, so that way the same group doesn't take all the trips, because that apparently was a thing in the past.
And we also want to mention there have been some new fall trips added that are going to take folks to both the Detroit Institute of Arts and OPC. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yep. Those are they're not even out yet. They're going to be out with the senior newsletter later this month. The OPC, we're going to go out to the Older People's Commission in Rochester, and the Players Variety Show. They're going to do school days. There's lunch provided. They haven't told us what that is yet. We're going to do that on Halloween. And then for the DIA, they've got a whole Van Gogh exhibit where they're going to be able to showcase history, and that one is expected to be provided by the DIA. They're going to send out a charter bus, about 40-some passenger. We're going to help with home pickups and returns for those that don't drive, but my staff isn't involved in that. We got 25 spots open for the Van Gogh, and I think similarly for the OPC. Those should both be great trips. They should be tremendous.
So for now, these trips, do the folks have to come and meet at West Bloomfield Parks, or do you pick them up at their home? How does that work exactly?
Every single trip is designed and structured to be started and ended at our main office on Walnut Lake Road. You can sign up by calling 248-451-1900. And then if you have somebody, like I just mentioned, that doesn't drive, that wants to go on these trips, they just got to call me and arrange transportation, and I'll be happy to send the bus to their home, and it's just the same $2 each way to get them to and from the start point and end point.
Okay, Ben, just if we can remind us one more time that phone number that people can call and book those services.
To book the trips, you call Parks and Recreation's main number at 248-451-1900. To book transportation or to have me help you, please call 248-706-2411.
Ben, thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you much for providing that great service to our seniors here in West Bloomfield.
No problem. Thank you for having me.